Thank you for joining the AAKP National Patients Meeting. I'm Ed Hickey, Vice President of AAKP and Chair of the Veterans Health Initiative. I'm a former Marine Infantry officer and I'm an attorney in Los Angeles, California. I'm active in the Armed Forces legal community here in California and work with the Veterans Legal Service Project of the LA County Bar Association to support the legal needs of active duty military personnel, reservists, and veterans. I'm also a former senior aide on Capitol Hill and a former senior advisor to the Director of the United States Civil Service. Like many of you listening today, I have a history of kidney disease in my family and have direct experience as a caregiver. I'm also a kidney patient and share the same sense of urgency to impact research and innovation to save and improve lives and reduce suffering. In 2019, AAKP launched the Decade of the Kidney. Our stated goal and objective is to help deliver substantive changes in kidney research and innovations in the next 10 years. In order to do this, patients must be involved in both research and communications, and we need to share our insights and personal stories more widely. Over the past several years, AAKP patient advocates have been highly successful in getting their viewpoints published in peer-reviewed medical journals. By doing this, we are impacting the research and medical communities. A major factor in this success has been our friend and ally, Dr. Ranish Mahorda, editor-in-chief of the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology. Under his leadership, C. Jason launched a strategic initiative that established patient voice editors and patient voice editorials. Based on metrics that measure media and social media impact, the patient editorials appearing on C. Jason are among the most impactful that C. Jason has ever published. We thank Dr. Mahorda and his C. Jason team for elevating our voices across the kidney community. Beyond medical journal, AAKP patients and allies are also impacting public and policymaker perceptions about the role of patients in kidney science and innovation through published books. And that brings us to our panel today. The individuals you will listen to in this session are AAKP members, board members, and allied medical professionals who have used their talents and the power of the written word to author well-received books and forthcoming books. Their topics range from kidney science and learning to very personal and emotional stories about their direct experiences with kidney patients and kidney disease. Each of these authors has our deep respect for their intellectual honesty, courage, and sheer guts to get in the public arena and share their viewpoints. I hope those of you who are watching today are inspired by their example. I encourage everyone listening to try your own hand at writing and publishing. Whether you write a letter to the editor, a blog, an article for a medical journal, or a book, the time is now to tell your story during the Decade of the Kidney. For today's session, Authors Corner, AAKP patients and affiliates advancing care, research, and shared decision-making through published work. I have the honor of conducting a series of interviews that we are privileged to share with you now.
The title of my book is In Pursuit of a Better Life: The Ultimate Guide for Finding Living Kidney Donors. And the book is an inspirational how-to guide, a how-to guide on how to share your story and how to advance your search for potential donors. You know, finding living kidney donors is not an easy process. In fact, it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. As any kidney patient would tell you, it's hard just to talk about our kidney disease, let alone talk about what we need. And especially if we're needing an organ from a living kidney donor. So it's a tough conversation. And this book allows readers to embrace concepts that allow them to work a plan for their search that's a lot smarter rather than harder. We want to really sort of engage in these conversations of naturally educating individuals who are willing to listen to our situation. A lot of it is education, but there really isn't any book out there that touches on this process. I know when I was going through the process, there wasn't any user's guide. There wasn't any owner's manual, if you will, on how to talk about your story and how to engage people in the process of learning that you could donate an organ while you're living. Most people think organ donation is when you pass. So you have to get through a few of those layers to understand that this is something that healthy individuals who are interested in seeking this path could help you with. And the book helps individuals basically feel that they're not having to go it alone. We really want the individuals that are reading this book, the kidney patients, to feel that they're part of a community and that it's okay to talk about their story. It's okay. You don't need to ask somebody to give you a kidney, but it's okay to talk about your situation, even if you're not feeling good about doing it for yourself. You want to do it for all kidney patients in need of a kidney transplant. I love that question, what inspired me, because the answer to that question literally changed my life. You know, plain and simple, the answer is I wanted to pay it forward. You know, imagine getting a gift of this magnitude. And you're not going to share your kidney with others, right? It's your kidney now. And you've had your transplant and you're living a vibrant and healthy life, and you want to give back. You want to give back to the community. I knew I was living this incredible life, and I was blessed with this wonderful gift, and I wanted to pay it forward. And how could I do that? I thought, wow, think of how difficult your path was, Risa. Think about how challenging it was to understand this process. I was able to avoid dialysis. And any kidney disease patient that wants to either bypass dialysis like I did to get a preemptive transplant, or a kidney patient that may already be on dialysis who wants to shorten their need for dialysis, this is the path. This is the ultimate path for securing a transplant and ending their wait, because gosh, we have over 95,000 people, right? Kidney patients waiting on a national list right now for a kidney transplant. And the only way to end their list is to find a living kidney donor. So if I could help them, if I could share what I learned, if I could share the tools that I put together for myself and continue to build on those resources post-transplant, it would be a wonderful gift to me to give back and to pay it forward. It wasn't an easy process, and I didn't feel that it was fair for the average kidney patient to have to struggle that hard, because if they did without guidance and inspiration and tools and scripts, conversation guides, which we provide in the book, along with how to post social media information about your need, how to get other people to join your team to do this. So you get those tools together and you get your team and you start talking about your story. But even then, you got to hope somebody not only is interested enough to lean forward and say, gee, maybe I could test to see if I could be a potential donor for you, but they have to be like astronaut healthy to pass all the tests. And so there's a lot of ups and downs. There are, false hopes and broken dreams. And I knew at some point that I needed to either back down and surrender. It took me almost 2 years to find my ideal donor. So at some point, after I had 5 donors disqualified, after each one, it was like, oh, okay, that person wasn't supposed to be my donor. Keep at it. I had to stay the course, and that takes a really strong, courageous person. And that's what I wanted to put in the book too. I wanted to help kidney patients not only embrace and be empowered by the information we provide in the book, but to believe in themselves and believe in the dream that they could possibly receive a transplant and either bypass dialysis or eliminate their need for dialysis. So I chose, instead of to back down, I chose to double down. And that's what I want my readers to do. I want them to double down. I want them to be all in. We talk about throughout the book becoming a donor magnet. that's never asking anybody to consider giving you a kidney. That's merely sharing your story from your heartstrings and hoping that your story and the education that you're providing connects to somebody else's heartstrings. So they either help you share your story or say, hey, maybe I could be someone that could help. Tell me more. I also should mention for individuals that are leaning more on their mobile devices for information like this, that we recently released an app that I would call more of a companion to this book, but we just took it 3 steps up, maybe more like 10 steps up, and we created videos. So, the written word is great, but when you can hear people, an example of certain conversations going on where we have a person speaking to a friend or a family member speaking about their friend or family member, and it's really nice to have those videos. They're like 2.5 minutes long. There's a series of 4 of them. A kidney patient could listen to these videos in English or Spanish, by the way, and be ready to put these tools into action in less than 15 minutes. So we think that the app, which is available on Android devices as well as Apple iOS, they can use the book and the app or choose just to use one or the other. It's up to them, and really empower their process. This is really more of a jump start, if you will, because there's 100 pages in the book. So it's going to take you time to read those 100 pages, right? But in the book, there are also examples, letters that, maybe this is the kidney patient talking to their friends and family in a letter that may be emailed or snail mailed. Could be a donor talking to their family and friends about their decision to donate. Because a lot of people, once they hear that somebody's going to donate, they think, oh my gosh, did you bump your head on the way home today? So they're educating those individuals. We've got a lot of those examples, but in the videos, in the app, we're sharing some of that information more live, if you will. You get more of the verbiage and the body language. And we really feel that the app, along with the book, is going to be a tremendous help for those who just want to jumpstart and dig right in. Of course, those who are not at that stage. They're not at, I'm ready to find a living kidney donor and get a transplant. Perhaps they were recently diagnosed or diagnosed years ago, but they haven't really put all their thoughts together to figure out, am I going to go for transplant or will I need to be on dialysis? A lot of patients think they have to be on dialysis as a precursor to transplant, which is not true, but they may not be transplant eligible. So the second book that I wrote, actually before In Pursuit of a Better Life, is Shift Your Fate. And that book also gets into a lot of information at the end about finding a living kidney donor, but it begins, and the full body of the book is really geared to what is the difference between dialysis and transplant, and why should I be looking at a transplant instead of dialysis if I am potentially eligible. Getting involved with AAKP was such a wonderful experience because it really broadened my horizons. The cause of my kidney disease is polycystic kidney disease. And I was somewhat isolated, although within a community, a wonderful community that really supported those of us that have this genetic disease. But joining AAKP seemed to open up the doors to this gigantic community of all kidney patients, not just those that were diagnosed with kidney disease because of my genetic disorder. And I got to meet these individuals and hear their stories and learn more about their journey. And really in that entire process, as I was advocating for kidney patients, it allowed me to expand that window too, because I realized I don't need to be just advocating for individuals that have a specific genetic disease. We're all in the same boat. We're all part of the same family, and we're all experiencing very similar situations. And our struggles are strengthened through our union. We're stronger together, no doubt about that. And we're not going about this process alone. And joining AAKP has allowed me and so many others to empower our voice and to advocate for better choices for kidney patients on public policy, and even just on a personal level of being your own best advocate. I've met some incredible people through AAKP. They will be lifelong friends, and we've all sort of taught each other a little bit about, how we got through this journey, and we've sprinkled some of that wonderful, how did you get there, and what would you have done differently? So for me, being a part of AAKP just allows me to really embrace a wider network and to support a larger group of individuals, myself included. We're supported so well, and it's just such an incredible honor to serve and to be part of this community.
I hope these interviews inspired you as much as they did me. And if you have not yet had the opportunity to read these books, I encourage you to do so and keep a lookout for those coming soon.